There's no such thing as a riskless retirement, and there's no such thing as a perfect investment, product, or strategy, which means it is very, very important to, in my opinion, blend strategies and be prepared for whenever your strategy doesn't work, what's your backup plan? Welcome to How to Retire on Time, a show that answers your retirement questions. My name is Mike Decker. I'm a licensed financial advisor and fiduciary. And with me in the studio today is my colleague, David Franson, who will be reading your retirement questions. As always, you can submit those questions to 913-363-1234. Again, that's 913-363-1234. David, what do we have for today?
Hey, Mike, I plan on living off of income from my bond portfolio. What's the risk with this income strategy, and how do you plan around it?
A bond portfolio is a very tried and tested strategy. It's boring, and boring is often very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
boring can be good sometimes.
I mean,
What kind of bonds are these? Are these just a variety?
that's a good question. It's probably usually when people say they got a bunch of bonds, they've got a bunch of bond funds.
Okay.
So we should probably differentiate the two.
So the
just in
fund has a
case
lot of different bonds in it?
they're actively trading bonds.
Oh,
So basically, bond funds can lose money. So if interest rates go up or down, the treasury, the 10-year treasury yield, like those, the market will affect bond funds. So bond funds aren't necessarily protected. They're just they're less volatile or less risky, but they have less growth potential, right? You equally have to appreciate the growth potential with the risk that you're taking. Bonds themselves are technically, quote unquote, called fixed income, if you want to be fancy.
okay.
So that's the fixed indexed part of the financial services space. And originally, the idea was you buy some bonds from some municipalities, some local governments, or treasuries from the federal government, right?
Okay.
And you get your coupon rate that pays you your income and all as well. And you might say, well, I've got a bunch of municipal bonds, so I'm getting tax-free income. Life is well. Life is good. There's a couple of risks associated with it. I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. I'm saying let's highlight the risks associated with it. And if you're okay with these risks, then great. If you're not okay with these risks, then maybe you maintain the strategy, but just blend in another or a secondary strategy to complement it.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, the two risks that I see are very, very high are, first off, inflation risk. So I know there are inflationary bonds out there. I'm not dumb. But the bonds that I see people buying aren't necessarily tied to inflation. They're tied to a fixed coupon rate.
So you're saying that there's a bond that would change its rates based on inflation, like it would?
Yeah, these for example, like a zero coupon bond that's tied to inflation.
Oh, okay. So
So
if
it
inflation goes up, then the bond would pay more? Is that what that means?
it matures at a better rate.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. But like most of the bonds I'm seeing in portfolios, they aren't built around inflation.
Oh,
They're built around, okay, here's the debt that we want. And in exchange for you lending your money to us, because bonds are debt instruments, we're going to pay you a coupon rate. And then when it matures, you get your money back. That's the idea.
so
Okay.
there could be like, I don't know, the city of Prairie Village wants to expand their police department, whatever. They'd get a bond for that.
Yeah, that'd be like a municipal bond.
Okay.
Okay. And those could be tax free.
Mm.
Now, all markets are equally weighted based on the risk, reward, and benefits. So a municipal bond will be priced in, even though it may be tax free, but you're probably going to get a lower rate than if you bought a bond that would give you taxes or would create a taxable situation. So don't think that you're going to have an apples to apples comparison of tax free municipal bonds than not.
Okay.
Also, it's important to note that according to the provisional income, which is how you calculate Social Security, municipal bonds and their quote unquote tax free income actually count against you when it comes to your Social Security calculation. You can't get around that.
Mm.
Okay. But it might be okay. It might not be okay. The reason why I say it might be okay, it might not be okay, is you might think, well, it's the government. If something goes wrong, they'll just pay your taxes. They'll increase taxes, and the government's not going to collapse.
Mm.
Well,
Hmm.
that's not always the case. Some municipal bonds can go belly up. You've got like look at Puerto Rican bonds.
Okay.
So Puerto Rican bonds were going insolvent or at risk of insolvency. And so that kind of went sideways. So not all bonds are perfectly safe. They're backed as good as the municipality or so on. But so you've got originally, let me go back real quick. Inflation risk. If inflation gets out of hand, your bond doesn't necessarily keep up with inflation.
Mm.
So you might not make it out. You might actually go backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
In addition to the inflationary risk, you've got reinvestment risk. I don't see a lot of people buying a bond ladder that goes out for 30 years. Usually it's like 5 to 7 years. So what happens once the bond matures? What is the coupon rate, or what are you going to get at that point? No one knows. What if bonds are going to be, I don't know, 1-2%? Could you live off of that? If you've maintained your principal and you're living off whatever the coupon rate is, or the income, quote unquote, rate is, could you live off of that? And are you okay with the income risk, because the coupon rate is, or the reinvestment risk is kind of like your income risk in that situation?
Mm.
And you might say, well, if that happens, I'll just sell part of the principal. Well, if you sell part of the principal, then you're also cutting your legs out from underneath you. So it's like the snake eating its tail, if that's the right expression, right? It can be an issue. Then you've got another layer of issues, and that's the creditor. So how good is the creditor that backs it? So I'd say overall, government-based bonds are probably safer than other bonds. That's a generalization. That's not always true. But then you've got corporate bonds, and there's high-quality corporate bonds, and there are low-quality corporate bonds. And marketing is a very interesting thing in that you've got high-yield bonds, which are junk bonds. You're being compensated at a higher coupon rate for taking on more risk.
Sure. Okay.
So you're not going to have a safe retirement based on fixed income when you're getting 8-9%, if that's even possible, from these bond funds, or not bond funds, but bonds themselves.
Mm.
So proceed with caution. It is a viable strategy when implemented correctly, but just understand that you may be taking on additional inflation risk, reinvestment risk, and credit risk in that strategy. There's no such thing as a riskless retirement, and there's no such thing as a perfect investment, product, or strategy, which means it is very, very important to, in my opinion, blend strategies and be prepared for whenever your strategy doesn't work, what's your backup plan? Hey, thanks for watching this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe first, and then go to www.retireontime.com to grab a copy of my book, How to Retire on Time, take a few courses about retirement, join my newsletter, and so much more. Now, if you want to work with one of our advisors here at Kedrick Wealth, who can help you put together a retirement plan that's designed to last longer than you, just click the button, Get Started. Everything we do is intended to help you retire on time. We hope you enjoy, and we'll see you in the next show.